Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide and another edition of Q&A. So let's roll the questions, shall we? This is in regards to the video that I made a while ago about how does Wacom EMR technology work. And the comment says, this is what happens when you have a vague understanding of the physics and attempt to verbalize an explanation in dumbed down terms. What results is an unintelligible word salad of technobabble and marketing lexicon that neither informs nor demystifies. You should have invited an actual engineer knowledgeable about the topic to explain it. If it cannot be simplified enough for the masses, at least the science wouldn't sound like gibberish. Well, okay, criticism taken on, but you haven't really said anything of substance in there. So if we're talking about babbling, that was a whole lot of babble, so I do invite you wholeheartedly and honestly to actually provide a constructive bit of criticism and tell me exactly what is technobabble, exactly what is incorrect, and exactly what you feel should have been presented in a better and more informed and less tech-babblish way. I think that would actually benefit everyone. I'd really challenge you to try the Remarkable apps on the latest Android version or on Windows. I've tried hard to stick with Remarkable products, but over time it's become clear that their companion apps just aren't properly maintained. The biggest drawback for me is the noticeable slowdown on the Remarkable Move Pro during long note-taking sessions. Recently, after a 3-hour writing session, the tablet became so slow it was almost unusable. I had to close and reopen the document just to continue. In the end, I switched to an iPad only for note-taking, and honestly, it's been a huge relief and a real productivity boost. The whole distraction-free argument is often exaggerated. It really comes down to how we choose to use our devices. Yes and no. There's like 3 kind of points there. First one, as far as the their app companion goes, that was never good. It was never something that I can characterize as good because both their desktop and mobile platforms for the past 7 years were just not enough. And we're talking about ridiculous limitations that have been in place for 7 years, and there's zero excuse for it. So no need for the challenge to be there because, yeah, I've been challenged enough and I have zero interest in, suffering through Remarkable's companion apps, which are really not that good. The second point is the 3-hour writing session and slowdown. Well, the question here that I would extend is, were you connected to Wi-Fi? Because that might have been an issue that the device was maybe trying to auto-sync while you were doing the writing, and maybe it had like a backlog of stuff that it needed to synchronize. This is simply out of my head, kind of guesstimating what would be the first thing that I would try and troubleshoot to see what caused the issue. And if it's not that, then it's simply the case of incorrect memory handling, not having correct, memory dumps and all that kind of stuff, which Remarkable is actually known for. So they've had a history of issues with not correctly handling memory during operations in their apps. So that might be the case as well. But my first culprit to test would be the Wi-Fi and the background synchronization and see if that resolves your issue. As far as the point number 3, the iPad, the functionality and distraction-free stuff, up to a point I agree, but from that point I disagree. The point that I agree with is that it is up to the individual's responsibility how they are going to use their device and whether they're going to set it up for a distraction-free environment or not. But it also means that the user's starting point has to be one where they are aware of what distractions do to your productivity, to your state of mind, how long it takes to get back into the flow, and all of that sort of stuff. And unfortunately, majority of people are not even aware of that kind of thing. So they don't know where to start from. And the benefit of a distraction-free device is that it takes away that completely and offers a platform that will not distract you, or at least on paper, they are trying to make it that it won't distract you, but remarkable fails that on, so many fronts. For example, inserting a new notebook page in a notebook is a two-swipe thing. Why the hell would that be a thing? And it's just a pure distraction. And also other software limitations, platform limitations then become distractions. But the idea behind it is at least to offer to users who are not even aware of the consequences of distractions and how to create a distraction-free environment, something that will do it for them. That's at least how I see it and how I perceive it. For your next Q&A show, why don't the manufacturers of e-notebooks write something in their OS to be able to print documents directly from the notebook to a printer? And that's a really good question, because why wouldn't Remarkable have it? Why doesn't Supernote have it? That's like a very logical extension of the functionality and use cases of these devices. However, using a Boox device, you don't have that problem, because you can just download the printing app that works with your printer and print away like you normally would on any of the devices. However, the caveat being, you don't have a dedicated print function, but you do have a share function, both from notebooks and from the Neo Reader, and there you can share to a printer app and then print directly that way. So far, yeah, only the Google Play certified devices will offer you that functionality. I asked Supernote if they were planning a 13-inch device. This is what they said. Currently, we don't have a fixed plan for a larger A4 device. We will announce the plan once the project is ready. That could be read as something's a cooking. Yeah, it certainly could be read as something cooking, but it also doesn't tell us if it's like a stew that they have all the ingredients for, or do they have the pots for it, do they have the lids for it, nor does it say how long the cooking time would be for that stew. And considering that, they had an original kind of plan for an A4 device, and then they fully kind of put it like a stop and a back burner or whatever, lack of transparency we have here. Unusual for Rata to actually have a lack of transparency here, but I do get it, because they did say that they got burned with being too transparent. So I see this as them trying to kind of learn from their mistakes and trying to create a new balance. So what I expect from them is that they'll do what they're saying here, which is that maybe they don't have all of the stuff in place yet to be able to actually announce a device like that, but it's still not a flat out no, so there's still hope. I enjoy your videos immensely. Thank you so much. That's very nice to hear. I always learn something. May I suggest an end of the year review in the near future, but not of the devices themselves, but of the top 1 to 3 software functionality improvements in the different major platforms for the year. Sometimes we get caught up in the new devices, but software functionality improvements can be game changers for us with existing devices. All the best. Thank you very much for that really thoughtful and important suggestion, especially in the world of e-note-taking devices, and especially for 2025, because we have the Supernote and the Supernote private cloud and server link development, which is such an epic, big, and important development in the world of ePaper devices that it cannot be overlooked. So yes, I will include in that end of the year video, I will include a mention of the software development features as well, although I may have given you a hint already what I think is the most important one, but that's not really a surprise, is it? I had Quaderno A4 Gen 2. It died after 2.5 years. Screen was just dead, broken over the night, no pressure applied, etc. And battery life was bad. Software awful. The worst e-ink device I've ever had. Well, I've had my A4 Gen 2 as well for well over 2.5 years, and it's some portion of time I did use it regularly on a daily basis because it was my MDO device, but then I got Note Max and I kind of switched over to that completely because it's way more functional. But I've used it quite a lot, didn't die, the screen works perfectly normally now. The battery life sucks as it did when it was completely new. You turn off Wi-Fi and then it sucks a little bit less. And yeah, it's a really, really limited type of a platform, but nothing compares to the sense of it being a true ePaper, because it has 0.14 millimeters surface to screen distance and the content looks like it's genuinely on the surface of the device, and the writing feel of the device is absolutely great. but the writing latency is really high, and then you get to have like but. However, if what you're looking for are those two really excellent features, there's nothing like the A4 Gen 2 that compares, but yeah, it comes at some serious compromises. That intro is disgusting. Ugh. I'm here to learn about device, not this rubbish stuff. And that is in regards to my intro for the We Need to Talk About Books, where I spontaneously started to sing completely off key and I added my buddy bunny. So just for you, Samir-PK, here it is in all its glory, full on once again, with a special dedication just for you. Get that bucket ready. Let's talk about books, baby. All the things that are crappy and all that you had to learn and now you have to unlearn again. Let's talk about books. On this occasion, ranty, very good. Exposed gaslighting, definitely not good. And that is in regards to, again, my We Need to Talk About Books video. I do appreciate these kinds of interactions. It's not really easy to always have the level of confidence to just go ahead with your gut and with the observations that you make, in this case that I make about this, especially when what you see, you know, elsewhere is always toned down or completely obfuscated. And then, you know, you feel like the odd nail kind of sticking out and that you're gonna get hammered in. So your votes of confidence and expressing these kinds of things as a level of support for these moments when I do stick out my head as a nail poking out of the board, they really do mean a lot, so thank you. Unfortunately, I did update to 4.1 for the Note Air 4C. Oh no, my condolences. A month or so back and regret it since. The primary reason I use a different reader app with a dark mode, and for no reason I lost the balanced or HD refresh when going into e-inkwise. I'm stuck with either Regal, which flashes every page turn, or Speed, which worsens the font kerning, not giving me the smooth text experience. Yeah, that's a real deal. I can see it in the default Neo reader that HD is still provided, but in certain apps it just won't appear and I don't know how to bring it back. It's the most frustrating aspect for me, followed by the anchor tap here to return to previous page. Notification every time I use MDO navigation. Yeah, you mean this one down there. Yeah, it's freaking horrible. And you can't really get it away and you can't make it smaller. That's the problem. You can't really move it, you can't do anything with it, and then it interferes with the content. And not just MDO, like anything, anywhere where you navigate. And what the hell was wrong with it being part of the... It's just complete freaking garbage. The 4.1 thing is an abomination in so many aspects that it's just really truly infuriating. I love my Note Max despite the limitations noted here. My question is, what other choice does a consumer have for a 13.3-inch tablet in the company ecosystem that offers all that the Note Max has? I love the Supernote, remarkable, etc., but they are too limited for my uses. Boox is the only company that I know of that can do all of the things I want from an e-ink device, unless I'm missing something. My dream would be to have elements of Supernote on the Boox platform with Supernote transparency and communication. Well, yes, and the private Supernote cloud, that would also be a very, very nice addition. The potential of Supernote maybe coming up with an A4 device or in the future is still not completely excluded, but we don't have any information on that when or if it actually may happen. So right now, you really don't have that much choices because there's only like 3 devices that are 13.3 inch that you can choose from. You have the Boox Note Max, you have the Boox Tab XC, which does improve certain things, but you lose the writing comfort and you have to use that stupid active pen and things like that. So it's quite a bit of a trade-off, but you get much better ghosting performance, you get a front light, you get the color, if those are things that you are looking for, all contained within the Boox environment. And then you have the Quaderno A4 Gen 3, which nobody speaks of for a good reason. Might as well not have it and just have these two. So yeah, there's really not that much on the market to actually choose from, at least not here in the Western Hemisphere. Thank you so much for all of the questions, and do remember to ask new questions in the description down below so that I can collect them for the future upcoming Q&As. I hope that you found the video informative and or useful. If you did, please remember to subscribe if you're not subscribed, like the video, and see you next time. Bye!